As Cannes director Terry Fremeau once put it, she is Bardot plus Binoche plus Kate Moss, sometimes all three at once, close quote. And today she is our guest, so would you please join me in welcoming Léa Seydoux. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much.
To begin with, we got to talk about Cannes. You are synonymous with this place. It's incredible just in such a short time how many films you've had play here, which just being accepted here is the highest of honors. I wonder, when you think of Cannes, first of all, can you share your earliest memory of being here, and then also what it's come to mean to you?
So, yes, I've been, I don't remember exactly the first time I came here. I think it was in, you told me, in 2007?
I think.
And it was, actually it was for a short film.
Yes.
And I remember that we all slept, we were young actors, and we all slept in a convent, not so far from here. And it was a bit like, for me, you know, Cannes was like, I mean, I had like no idea exactly what it meant at the time. And no, I was just very happy to be here. And then the second time I came here was for a movie I did with Ridley Scott. It was Robin Hood. And so it was the first time that I was actually like, that I had a real part in a big film. And but they just forgot me on the carpet. So
they're all posing and you're...
Yeah, I was like, just by myself, right. A bit lost. And I remember I'm still, but I was at the time very shy. And so I was like alone on the carpet. And
that will never happen again here in Cannes. Yes, I think they won't forget you. But, and just now, I mean, last year, unfortunately, you couldn't be here in person, but you had 4 films at once. That's something that is almost unheard of. And now 2 again, not the first time. Now when you come back, having had all this experience, if you were telling somebody who was here for the first time what Cannes is all about, which I believe you did in our cover story for your cover girl for this week's Hollywood Reporter, Mia Gallupo did that piece with you. But I mean, just for somebody listening, what have you learned about Cannes?
I mean, it's like, I think I've had like my best emotions here, because in 2013 we received with my co-star, we received the biggest prize.
Yeah.
We had the Golden Palm. So that moment is just now, you know, it's a moment that is part of my life, and it was just, I mean, it was amazing. So for me, Cannes is the Golden Palm and all the emotion that went also with this movie. Yes. That was really hard to make, but I mean, it's a celebration of cinema, you know. We're all here to share our passion, and it's just amazing to meet like direct filmmakers from all around the world, and it's a pure joy and excitement, and it's just
it's great. Well, now I'm going to do what we normally start out with on this podcast, just the real basics for anyone who doesn't know. Where were you born and raised? And what did your parents do for a living?
I was born in Paris. I was born in the Quartier Latin, which is like, I don't know if you know this neighborhood, but it's you have all the cinemas, so in Paris, in 1985. My father is like he makes drones.
Mm-hmm. Drones. Wow. All right.
Drones.
Nice.
Yes, you heard it.
Yeah.
And my mom, she was a producer, like she produced 2 films, and she wrote a book, and then she now she works in Africa with artists, and she also created a school for children there.
And there was kind of a crazy thing in her life before you came along, I think, where she was never setting out to be an actress.
No.
That wasn't a desire. And then she ended up in a kind of a classic film, right?
Yes.
What happened?
Yes. But she has never been an actress, and I've read this but never. She's very shy, so that's not her thing. But she accidentally she played in À nos amours from Maurice Pialat, which is now an iconic film, because she was the costume designer, and I think there was like someone missing for a scene, and so he asked her to be in the scene.
That's great.
And so you see her. We look alike.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I saw pictures.
It's
like
crazy.
looking at you. Yeah. So one of the just reading things to prepare for this, there seem to be 2 common incorrect assumptions. One is that you're an actress because she's an actress, which, as you've just said, is not the case. But the second is that you have other members of your family who are very distinguished in this business, from studios, Palais, Gaumont, that, then surely that must be related to why you got in this business, which itself is also not correct. You were, in fact, pretty far down the road with a very different career, right? You were going to be a singer?
Oh yeah, no, I loved singing when I was a kid, but no, I wish I wish I had like a great talent for that, but no, yeah, I just I started like accidentally, I think, in this business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and that story maybe we can get into a bit, because like many people who we've had on this podcast, or many people in your profession, you know, a guy signs up to be in an acting class because he has a crush on a girl, or some variation of that. Well, it works the other way too, right? I mean, what was the story for you?
Well, it's a very long story. Let me just like this, because I can't see you. So so you want to know how it started,
Please,
right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Take your time. Yeah.
So I was I was a bit lost as a kid. Like I was not good at school, and I didn't have any like real passion. I was very shy, and I struggled to just like express myself. And I remember that when I was about like 18, I met someone who, he was like, I met a girl who was in my class, and she was obsessed with cinema. She was like, yeah, I want to do cinema, I want to work in cinema. And I was like, oh, okay, well, why not? And then she was hanging out with actors, and she just took me with her, and I met an actor at the time, and so this is how I just like started to meet with actors, and I was like, wow, that's so great being an actor. You have so much freedom. You can work whenever you want. You have like you're in a way your own master.
Yeah.
And that was to me very appealing. And I was like, oh, I want to be free, like like an actor. And then, but I was not very like ambitious. And a little like at that same time, I met an actor. Yeah. And I had like a love at first sight. And I had like a big crush for him. And I didn't really know who he was in his films. And but then I started to watch his films. And I fell in love with him. And I thought, oh my God, it's amazing the films that he's doing, the filmmakers he's working with. I want to be like him. I want to work with like the same kind of directors, and then the desire, it really like it amplified my desire. It gave me an ambition in a way. But what I have to say is that this actor, I was totally in love with. I was like trying to meet him, and he was extremely pretentious.
Actors,
he
right?
He was very, very pretentious, and so he was like he would like be very he wouldn't like pay attention to me, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna show him that I can be a great actress, and that I wanted to exist for him in a way. And so it really gave me
the drive.
Yeah, it gave me the drive.
Well, what's become of him?
And so I thought, like, one day he will see me like on a poster, and he will not like
Look
he
over
won't.
there. Look out the window. Crimes of the Future. There's a poster going
the poster,
around,
yeah.
and I think that might be him sleeping next to the tree over there. Well, I think you came out better on that one, so that's great. Now, one of the keys to your success has been that you are able to hold your own on both sides of the Atlantic because you are bilingual. That happened as a child, right? That was somebody said, and it's not just because you're bilingual. Obviously, there's a lot of people are bilingual and are not sitting here. But just that learning English, wanting to work beyond France, was that always important to you?
No, I mean it was like it just happened, you know. And no, I went to America when I was young, when I was very young, and I didn't speak English. I was very shy, and it was interesting to understand the culture from from the inside, and I really have to thank my father for that because I think it's a great it's a great window. It's and so. Yeah, but I
It was like summer camp.
Yeah, I was.
It
was a summer camp, yeah.
But here's the best.
Yeah.
Might there have been a TV show that was also helpful?
Sorry, can you repeat?
I believe you might have been a fan of Saved by the Bell.
Oh yes, I was. Yes, I was.
So that helped. Hey, if it's the reason you're here, then that's great. Part of the reason.
It's true. But yeah, so I had the chance to travel as a kid, yeah, I mean it's my English is better now than it used to be.
So the first, you mentioned it started maybe with a short film that was here and other short films like that. What was it like? I guess what was the first opportunity to be in a movie that was going to be seen by other people, and what was that like for you to see yourself on the big screen for the first time?
It was terrible. I cried. No, I couldn't stand myself. I mean, still, it's a difficult thing, but I'm not like now. It's like when it's like once I've done it. I've done the thing. It's not my. I mean, I don't do it for myself. I act for people. I mean, I act to just my main goal is just to touch people.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think the first time you did a movie where you were central and a lot of people noticed it was this movie, The Beautiful Person, in 2008. You're playing, it's just, first of all, just 2 years into acting at all, right? French film, sort of modern version of 17th century novel, La Princesse de Cleves. Brought you a lot of personal acclaim, César nomination for Most Promising Actor, which you'd get another one 2 years later. But you said also at the time, it was also like your, quote, first family, in a way, close quote. So how did that movie change things for you, and why was it like a first family?
It's when you say first family, you mean like a,
well, it sounds, I think,
like a family, but for me, like cinema is my family.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so your first time in a
yeah. But
yeah.
it was yeah.
And this is a new girl at a school.
Yes.
Who tempts her Italian teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, it was the first time that I was doing a film that really had like a meaning for me, because I was working with a director that I loved at the time, and it was my dream to work with him. His name is Christophe Honoré, and I was a huge fan of him, and so I was very impressed when I did that film. And but I was still like not very conscious in a way of what it was to like really like play a character, and so but it was, I still have that very vividly in my head. It's I remember this shooting. It was really intense for me, and I got to play this Princesse de Clèves, and it was I mean it was I was like, it was a dream coming true. Yeah,
and it really, I guess, is what put you on the radar for a lot of people all around the world, because pretty soon after that, a year after that, these are small parts at first, but like, you're in a major Hollywood movie for the first time, Inglourious Basterds, opening scenes for Tarantino. If people want to think back, this is when Christoph Waltz's deranged Nazi shows up at this house and starts terrifying the guy and his daughters. You're one of the daughters.
Yeah.
And you said that you were first time working with like A-list director Tarantino, but also you probably only needed to be there for like a few days, but you stayed there a long time. What was that about, and what did you learn?
Because that's how Quentin likes to work.
Yeah.
He likes to work with his actors and be surrounded by his actors, because it's his family. And so I remember, I did a casting for Inglourious Basterds, and he did it himself, Quentin. Like, he gave me the lines, and it was very funny. So I met him, and we just we rehearsed the scene, and he gave me that little part. I was like, so he just so he asked me to play this little part, and I spent I think maybe more than a month on set with him. But it was really nice, being. I'm really I don't know if you remember, but I'm really it's
couple lines.
Not even a line, I think. But it's it was just nice to be with him and the cast and yeah.
Well, so that was 2009. Ends up with a Best Picture nomination, that movie. So again, more people are starting to discover you. The next year is Robin Hood, which we mentioned, and somebody at Cannes needs to lose their job over not appreciating your promise at that point. But then the next year is your first time with a real meaty role opposite a very famous actor who happens to be your fellow Palme d'Or winner, Tom Cruise. And this was Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. You are Sabine Moreau, an assassin plotting to kill him. And I believe you were there because he asked for you, right?
Tom Cruise?
That's what I've heard.
Really?
I think he was a
know.
fan. You didn't? That's not what you've heard?
No, I didn't.
How did it come to your attention?
I think like they called me and just asked me if I wanted to work in Mission Impossible. Like I didn't do any casting, nothing, and I think they had to replace an actress. That's what I heard, but I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, I was like, I loved. I mean, it was. I mean, the part is a bit bigger than in.
Yes.
in Glorious Bastards, but it was great. I was really happy. It was my first action movie, and I remember I was so sitting opposite Tom Cruise, and I was just mesmerized. Like really, like I couldn't like. I think I forgot to say my line because I was like, I was looking at him. He was so like he's so powerful, you know. So. And then it was a really nice experience.
Now you another kind of really interesting, uncommon thing about your career is that you go from these tiny little indies to like a giant thing like that. And I wonder, is it more challenging to craft an interesting performance when you've got so much stuff going on around you, or is that just something you easily adapt to?
Like I think that acting is something difficult, and I mean, whether it's a small film or a big film, you have like always you are. I mean, okay, I don't have the word. It will come. But anyway, I think it's difficult. But what I like as an actress is to adapt myself, and I want to adapt to the genre in a way. Yeah. So when I work with Keshish, for example, Blues the Warmest Color director, I try to be like to melt in his like vision in a way. Yes, like when I worked with Wes, for example, Wes Anderson. It's the same thing. It's you have to catch like this special pace. It's a way like actors have a certain way of just adapting, exactly. And so yeah, when I work in like I try to just to adapt myself. And David Cronenberg, it's another it's very specific. So it's what I like. I mean, it's just the challenge of it, and also to understand in a way the filmmaker's vision, and they all have their different language, and this is what I'm interested about. Is all those kind of different language, and just to try and understand. I mean, try to collaborate with the director and.
Well, you work so much that you've probably experienced every kind of character that there is with directors. One of whom this is Best Picture nominee number 2, in the same year as Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol, is Midnight in Paris for Woody Allen, who, complicated guy, but the fact of the matter is, more women have been nominated for Oscars for acting in his movies than any other filmmaker. And I guess I just wonder if you can pinpoint, just in terms of on set, or maybe it's on the page or whatever, why is that? What is it like as an actress to work with this guy?
With Woody?
Yeah, and on your home turf, of course, with Midnight in Paris.
Yeah, I mean, I had a great experience. I'm a huge fan of his work, and same, like I was very impressed when I met him. We shot in Paris. It was, I remember, it was a beautiful summer, and it was, I mean, it was just great. At the time, I mean, whatever, I was like, he didn't see me, like he saw pictures of me, and he just asked me like how my hair, the length of my hair, and he said, okay, well, that's good. I said, you have like long hair? I said, no, they are like No, yeah, you have a hair, and so he said, okay, well, see you tomorrow, and it just like just show up on on set, and it was.
I've heard it doesn't like speak very much, but
Yeah.
one of the best movies that I think, my 2 cents, that you've starred in, which more people should see, was the Swiss Oscar entry for 2012 called Sister. Ursula Meyer, you're playing this kind of screw up of an older sister to this young boy who's a thief at a ski resort, which is near where they live. And I guess it's interesting because this comes back to what we were talking about, how you'll go from small to giant movies. You were doing this, I think, at the same time as Mission Impossible.
Yes.
And now, so you're coming literally continent to continent to shoot these, and you're dealing with a little kid on this one. I don't know, what was it from your perspective? Was it a special? I mean, I think it turned out pretty beautifully.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's just adaptation.
Yeah.
But I did the same thing when I was shooting James Bond in London, and at the same time shooting with Xavier Dolan.
Yeah.
Just
It's only the end of the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only the end of the world,
Yeah.
and same, like it's so like two very opposite worlds, and same here. I just did a film with Mia Hansen-Love.
Yeah.
And in between, I shot Crimes of the Future.
It's just a little. How do you keep yourself straight? How do you keep things straight? You ever forget what you're doing at the wrong
Yeah,
time?
sometimes I do.
Sometimes, yeah. Okay, so that same year as Sister, you get your first Best Actress César Award nomination for Farewell, My Queen, and then right after that is the beginning of, I think, the person you've worked with maybe more than anybody else, Wes Anderson. You've done 2 movies, but also other stuff with him. How did you guys, so the first movie, there was this little part in 2013 in Grand Budapest Hotel, Best Picture nominee number 3 that we've referenced here, but you and he started before that. How did you and he kind of hit it off?
On a commercial, but he wasn't there. He was just
remotely directing you? Yeah.
Directed,
oh
yes.
my God.
And so, so that's how we met. And then he just asked me to do this little cameo in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
This maid, Clotilde.
Yeah, and he asked me would you do that for me? And I said, yes, of course, Wes.
Right. That same year as Grand Budapest 2013 is the one that maybe you're most closely associated with. Blue is the warmest color, which we started to talk about. Just if anybody needs a reminder, Emma, this blue-haired art student who is openly a lesbian, gets romantically involved with this younger woman played by Adele Exarchopoulos, who is discovering her own sexuality. What made you want to sign on to that project? Was it the director? Was it the story, the character? And then can you talk about, this is one where, it seems like the work went on both before the shoot and during the shoot, maybe longer than anything else that you've done.
Yes. Yeah, it was a very long process because it's the way he works. And I was a huge fan of Abdelatif Kechiche. I'm still, I think he's one of the great French filmmaker here. And so, yeah, I met him in a cafe the first time, and he told me about the story and that it was based on a comic book. So I read the comic book, and then, but he what he wanted is that he asked me to just be extremely involved in the process, but also it really required all of my time, and I was I had to be there for him. I had to also have like we like meetings in cafe and have drinks, and we talked, and it was just like he wanted to. This is how he wanted to know everything about my life, and so this is how it started. But it was a very demanding process, because it's just like I didn't have any, like I couldn't have any life.
It took over your life,
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess, so just to give some idea of the chronology, this was like months before you start shooting in March 2012. Then the shoot's supposed to be like 2.5 months, something like that. It goes 5 months.
Yeah. It was more than that.
More than 5, yeah. I guess let's talk about some of what was going on in the lead up. You said for you it was really important, if you're going to play the sort of more assertive person in this relationship, that you were going to study the way certain other actors physically carried themselves, right?
Yes.
Who were some of the people that you modeled your character after?
I think my brother. Yeah.
But also,
It was but also
maybe some Marlon Brando, right?
Oh yeah. No, I've just because I'm a huge fan of Marlon Brando. There's something that really touches me. He's wounded.
Yeah.
There is like this vulnerability, and there is this truth, like about him. But no, it was yeah, maybe like I think I was like
because you could see the way you just carry yourself, like
I was like exactly, because I think that physicality in a role is extremely important. So it's the way you just hold yourself, and it's true that I found the character when I knew how she was walking.
I guess a pretty important thing here was going to be who your co-star was going to be, because you guys were going to be together for a long time,
yes,
doing some pretty intimate stuff. And I believe Adele was not the original.
No, she was not.
Right?
Yeah.
So was there, when she gets brought on, was there like a chemistry test, or was it just like,
yes,
good luck to you guys?
It was like a chemistry test.
Good.
Yes. No, we just like we read lines with Abdelatif Keshish, and so we just like spent some time together. But she was like amazing. Yeah, right away.
And in this case, even though you're playing a woman who there's this kind of infatuation that these two women have with each other, you once said that it was sort of modeled on, maybe it's the same actor we were talking about earlier, but just like you know, drawing somewhat on an experience of where you can be that into somebody else. Like you've said there was some prior relationship that was an influence.
Prior relationship.
Well, just like that when you're imagining that you're infatuated with this character, that it was you think back on something from your own life.
Yeah, of course, but always.
Always.
Like,
That's how you do it.
Because I don't really believe in the character. You know, the fact that it's something that is outside of you. I think you build a character from you start with yourself.
Yeah.
And so I've always felt that all the films I've done are a variation of myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yes.
So I'll read you a funny quote from Adele that she had said about this. She said that, quote, "During the shoot, sometimes when we had free time, we'd be looking at a magazine and see Marion Cotillard in Hollywood, and we'd say, 'She's so lucky,'" close quote, because it looked a lot more perhaps pleasant than what you guys were going through. Obviously, it seems like there are very complicated feelings when you think back about this movie, because obviously it became what you were describing earlier, this great moment in your career where you win the highest honor at the Cannes Film Festival. It puts you on a different kind of level in people's awareness and in the business, but it was not fun.
No, it was not fun. But I mean, no, it was really, really tough. I mean, it was very. The process was very difficult, and it was not because of what we had to do in the film. It was because of the technique that he used.
Just endless takes.
Endless takes, and he was like very manipulative. And psychologically, it was very hard to just handle that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so when the film was when I knew that the film was like selected for the main competition, I remember I cried. And it's the first time ever that I cried for a film, because it was such a relief, you know.
That it was good.
Yeah, because we worked so hard, Adele and I, for that film, but then we were very, very scared because of the scenes, and it was like
vulnerability.
And the scenes are extreme. I mean, so we were just excited and panicked, but I thought at the time, I remember that this would be the end of my career.
Why?
Like this film, because of the sex scenes. I thought like, okay, it's the end. Like I feel ashamed. I felt ashamed of what I did, and so. Was
it what you did, or the fact that you had to do it a million times over? Like, I guess the epic scene in the movie with involving that stuff was like 10 days of shooting it.
Yeah, but I didn't count because it was like maybe more than that. Like it was just endless, you know. It's, so yeah, so I was afraid. I was very afraid. And so yeah, I thought that okay, once this movie will come out, like it's gonna be the end of everything, but it's fine. I'm prepared. And then the movie. I mean.
We know what happened.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for you, can you set the scene? You're in this building, in the Palais.
Yes.
On the night of the closing ceremony, there was no expectation that, had you heard any rumors or anything that what was going to happen was going to happen, or were you totally surprised?
No, first, like the movie, you know, they screen. I don't know how they do it now, if it's still the same thing, but like the projections.
Yeah.
For the journalists, is before.
Yeah, the press screenings.
Yeah, the press screenings is before the official one, and so I remember that year, like the festival was very gray and rainy, and it was like people were a bit like not super excited. There was like not. It was not like the magic was not there really, and so the movie just screened, and like all of a sudden it became like crazy. Yeah. Like people talked about the film, like it was all over, like Twitter, like everybody was talking about that film. It's really, really crazy, and I was, oh my God, that's such a It's like it's amazing, because I really thought it was going to be the end of everything, you know. And I was like, but and because we worked so hard on that film, you know, it was more than making a film. It was really like I mean, it took like more than a year of my life, and it was like wow. And we touched people with this movie, and people I remember in the streets here were like, oh, I saw the movie, and people were just so moved, and it was like really the greatest reward, you know. And then so I remember that it was like it was almost the end of the festival, and so we had to stay because we knew that a prize was like probably a prize was like coming. And so I remember that the publicist of the movie came and said, "Okay, guys, it's gonna be a great." He came to us he was like, "Okay, it's gonna be a great prize. It's not the Palme d'Or. It's not the Palme d'Or, okay? But it's going to be big." And we're like, "Really?" So really, I thought, okay, it's not the Palme d'Or, but it's going to be big. And then I remember when I was in the Palais des Lumières. So the price, it starts with the and then it increased.
Except when Spike Lee's doing it.
My God. But then, and that year it was Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
So it was and I remember the jury this year was amazing, and so I was like in the room, and I was seated next to Abdelatif Kechiche, and so the prize were like coming one after another, and then you have the Grand Prix, and when you have the Grand Prix, you know that the Palme d'Or is like the next. And when they announced the Grand Prix, I was like, wow, we have the Palme d'Or. And I turned to Abdelatif, and I just held his arm like that, and I said, Abdel, we have the Palme d'Or, we have the Palme d'Or. And he looked at me like that, and he said, shut up, just shut up.
And when you're saying we, you didn't know how much we that really was because
I didn't know. And then so I thought, okay, the film has the Palme d'Or, and then they announced our names, our 3 names, and we're not allowed to go on stage. Like he just kept us like on the side. The director, and he went on stage, and he wanted to do his speech, and we're not allowed to go on stage, And so after we came after, but anyway we had
only time in 75 years that the stars have been recognized with the director.
Yes,
cool.
But you know what? It was the first time also that actors were recognized in the fact that they are also the
creators.
Creators and the co-writers in a way.
Totally. With that movie.
Yeah.
So. Last question about that movie. Knowing how it all turned out, if you could go back to the moment where you decided to do it, would you still do it?
Yes, of course.
Definitely?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
No, and I love the film. I really love the film, and I'm proud of it. But
no sequel. All right, so just moving ahead, you've done so many that I wish we could talk more about, but don't have the time. I mean, The Lobster. You work with such. It's not like the kind of obvious list of directors. This is Yorgos Lanthimos after Dogtooth, before The Favorite. You were the leader of the Rebel group there. That's 2015. But the other little movie you did in 2015 was the first of your 2 Bond movies, Spectre. Madeline Swan, psychiatrist who's the daughter of Bond's nemesis, Mr. White, but also becomes involved with Bond, of course. Just thinking about it, and when this was first raised, Léa Seydoux, we see you as a Bond girl or a Bond woman, whichever we say these days. Were you immediately convinced that this was a good idea, or did it take could you see yourself as a Bond girl?
Not at all. No, but I thought. It was hard to say no.
Yeah, right.
No, and again, it's like adapting, And I was happy to be part of a film who's like a big action film, entertaining, It was super fun to make. Like really, I think it was one of the greatest shooting I've.
For Spectre, specifically.
Yeah, Spectre was great. It was just I was, so happy to be here and also I love to work like in a different language. For me, it's very exotic.
Doesn't scare you?
Yeah, of course it scares me, but I'm always scared.
Yeah.
So, it's really I'm really happy I've been part of it, and it's and the way those films are made, it's not like it's the family, Barbara and Michael, they're just they're just like amazing people. So I felt, no, I feel very, very, very lucky.
Well, let's just note that Bond girls, the characters, not the actresses, do not appear in more than one film. There's only one before you who did, Eunice Gayson's Sylvia Trench, who was in Dr. No and From Russia with Love. Several actresses played different Bond girls, but yours is a real character, a person who has something to say, is not just there to be looked at. I guess, was it meaningful to be asked back with a different director for a different Bond 6 years later? Well, it wasn't, I guess the pandemic delayed it a little bit, but for No Time to Die, with first one Sam Mendes, second one Cary Fukunaga, but just like knowing that that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
that might have been cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I was, it's crazy. No, but, and also I've worked with, there are real filmmakers,
Yeah.
you know, Sam Mendes, I mean,
Yeah.
he's great,
Yeah.
and Cary as well, and they are very different, one to another, so it's always very interesting, and I have to say that what I love is I love to work with filmmakers.
Yeah.
And,
And with Cary, you really kind of
yes.
shaped the character, right?
Yeah. Yes, and also she's not a typical Bond girl, Madeleine.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
No, Madeleine, she's special. No, but I mean, she's just. I like the fact that she was not like objectified,
Right.
and that I think that people could like relate to her.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and we've already said this, No Time to Die was part of your crazy 2021, also The French Dispatch, where you were the prison guard / muse of this Benicio del Toro character for Wes Anderson. That, you can't even describe it. Another César nomination for France, Bruno Dumont's film, in which you're playing this title character. Many people love,
hate it.
Yeah, no, it's just an amazing, crazy performance.
Crazy movie?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this brings us to 2022 and the 75th Cannes, which we're at now. 2 movies. Let's start with David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future, in which you're playing Caprice, a woman who partners with a man named Saul, Viggo Mortensen, to make performance art out of body organs, which people in the future are able to kind of grow, which is a new concept, and also to basically not feel pain. So what do you do if your body can basically become a canvas? That's no spoilers. I know it's still to premiere here, but this is very Cronenberg. David Cronenberg has described it as, quote, a meditation on human evolution, close quote, and, quote, a continuity of my understanding of technology as connected to the human body, close quote. So I know that you were very interested in the idea of working with Cronenberg. Is it because these are the kinds of a little bit out there movies that he's very, known for? Why were you so interested in working with him, and how you originally, I think, were approached about the character that Kristen Stewart ended up playing? So why did that change?
Another actress was supposed to play my part, and so just she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So which was like really, I was really happy about. No, but yes, I how did it happen? It was during pandemic, so
Right.
I couldn't meet David in person. So we just we Skyped, and we got along really well.
Yeah.
And then the script was kind of strange.
Yes.
I didn't think I understood everything, but I found his films extremely poetic, and I just it was a new adventure. I wanted to work with him, and again, because I've always felt that cinema was a way to question the world,
Yeah.
you know, and like every filmmakers have their own point of view, and that's what I like. And so yeah, it makes me just think about what I like when I work with a filmmaker is I like to be given questions and not answers.
Yeah.
And so
This
I like
movie
to. It's just
definitely
yeah, it is,
does
and
that,
and
yeah.
there is like also a philosophical dimension.
That's right. That's right. Well, Cronenberg loved your performance. He said, quote, "To my non-surprise, Léa brought a great acting intelligence and culture to the role, along with an incredible emotional sense that I knew she would bring. It really transforms the character of Caprice. She's still saying the same dialogue that was in the original script, but coming from Léa, it has a depth and emotional impact that other actresses would not have brought. So it was very exciting working with her. She's just a delight to work with," close quote. So that is a movie that people will get to see on tomorrow. Well, I'm trying to think what to say for our listeners, because this will have happened already. But for people in the room, this is going to be tomorrow, so that's very exciting. And then there's another one, which you mentioned, Mia Hansen-Love, called One Fine Morning. Story of this woman, a single mother, juggling the responsibility of caring for an ailing father while also having an affair. And this one, I think, was shot before Crimes, right?
No, it was no. I told
Oh,
you.
you said it was
No, yes. No,
before.
you're right. Yeah,
Okay,
no,
okay.
you're right.
And
Before and after.
before Anna, yeah,
It was
overlapping.
a very long shoot.
Yeah, and
This is where I got COVID, by the way.
no, so I guess here's an opportunity to note, just because we're talking about Mia Hansen-Love, you have worked with a lot of very talented female directors. Rebecca Zlotowski several times, and another time coming up, which we'll talk about. Ursula Meyer, Jessica Hausner, Catherine Breillat. I'm sure I'm forgetting others.
My two first films.
Oh yeah, right.
It was a teen movie.
Teen movie, yes. Oh yeah.
But
Well, so I guess, do you seek out? Is there a difference being directed by a female filmmaker versus a male? Do you seek out female filmmakers, or is this just kind of the way it's worked out? Like using One Fine Morning as an example.
yes.
Was that because of the filmmaker?
Yes, of course. I mean, I like. I don't want to be stuck in one place, you know. And I'm happy that I'm able to work in France, in my country. But I also love to work with people from from other parts of the world. So, and I just want to. I don't want to have like boundaries.
Yeah.
You know. So but what I like about working with women is that they are more of alter ego. They don't fantasize.
Yeah.
It's true. It's more like maybe they're talking about themselves a bit more, whereas a male director would like have his like fantasy or it's more. Something like a woman is a strange creature for him.
Yes, foreign object. Yeah. Well, this brings us to just the last 2 minutes, just some big picture stuff. It was announced during this festival that you will be doing a film called Emmanuel, which is a title people are familiar with, but it's going to be kind of rebooted, redone, modernized. Why is that something that, I guess, what drew you to that? Just because everybody's talking and excited that you're doing it.
Yes, I'm really, really happy I'm very excited about the project. When I spoke with Audrey Diwan, the director, she told me that she wanted to talk about a woman of nowadays that she sees, that she knows, but that she doesn't see on the screen. And I understood what she meant. And I think she wants to, yeah, to talk about like just what it takes to be a woman today, and a woman who is like a woman who has like her own our relationship to our sexuality,
yeah.
and it's something that hasn't been like shown, I guess, in cinema. It's like a female perspective on a female's like relationship to her sexuality, and the fact that it's we also feel strong in our sexuality, but it's still like we're still in the process where it's not it's like we're building things.
And it's interesting though that because you talked about the challenges of blue is the warmest color, that did not deter you in any way from going back to a part where sexuality is very central.
Yeah, no, I have absolutely no problem with sexuality.
Yeah.
It's something that I like to see, like as a as a spectator. I like to see that to see those scenes on the screen, and but it's true that they are very often, like most of the time, they are filmed by men with a male gaze, and or they are like completely like desexualized or unsexualized by certain women because they don't want to have like a male gaze on, on them. So, and I think that we want to talk about with Audrey about sexuality, but from a woman's point of view. Yeah,
it's exciting.
Yeah.
Biggest difference between making a movie in France and making a movie in America?
I mean, it's very different.
Yes.
And at the same time, same, because you are like, it's you in front of a camera. Yep. And it's like a writer in front of his blank page. Right. It's just where you have to create something out of nothing. Yeah. And that's what I love. Yeah.
If there's a college course on Léa Seydoux' career and they can only show one movie in full to the students, which movie do you want them to see to kind of know what you're all about?
You have to answer that question.
I have an opinion.
Because, you know, I don't know. It's just, I feel that I give like, when I act, I just open myself. Yeah. I give everything I can. I'm really committed. And then after, it's just like, I feel that it's like a gift.
To everyone
that
else,
to everyone. And
last question. What is, if you, do you have a specific dream or ambition or something that you haven't yet gotten to do as an actress that you want to make sure you do before the world blows up or whatever's going to happen to all of us? Just, is there something, what's the most important thing for you to get to do that you haven't gotten to do yet?
I just feel that I'm just starting right now. Yeah. As an actress, I don't feel when you name all the films that I've done, I'm like.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.